ideas, photo album. Okay, so are we good to go now? So now we see the big ideas, the photo album, the wedding, and you can just select from a template gallery. But now, since what we are doing is we are learning something new, and you can just select from a template gallery. So what we are doing now is to create from a blank slide. So basically, when you create a blank slide, this is what you are presented with. This is what you see. You see a layout like this, and it shows you that, okay, what are you going to do? Now, for here, what the first thing we'll be discussing is layouts. We'll be discussing about Google Slides layout, how you can structure your slides, how you make things appear on it, how you structure the content in which you will be placing on the slide. Now, what we are doing now is there are templates of layouts that you can select from. If you go to the layout option here, you will see different layouts that has already been created. You can select either, in which you can just create a title, then you can select another layout like the title and the body. So probably when you want to have like listing your points, you can just select the title here. Okay, what I'm doing is we can just say the title will be something like training. Then we can say, okay, what are we going to do? We can just say we are going to study layouts. Then we study something like themes. Then we study these transitions and the likes. So now basically this is another layout. And if you check the layout option here, you will see that we can select ranges of layout. We have the 2 columns layout, we have the title only, the 1 column text, the main point, the section and the title description and the caption. Now, there's another form of layout in which you can just select the blank. When you select the blank layout, let me just create a new slide for us to see. Now, when we select a blank layout, everything will be empty. So there will not be a template for us. So with this, we are free to add whatever it is we want to add. We are free to place whatever we want to place on our slide in any position we wish to place it. So now we'll go back to our first slide. Now, after we've talked about this layout, after you know how to structure the content to be placed on your slide, the next thing that is so important for us is to choose a theme. Now, themes will make our work more colorful and more presentable when you choose a theme. And themes help our work to be more coherent in terms of probably when we are having something like, let me say, we are having many slides, up to 15, 20 slides. We can't just start editing one after the other. But it's more advisable, or it's more good when we select a theme so that every of the slides that we'll be having, we have that themes there. So what we just do is we can just select, let's just select a template here. You just select a theme here. So this is our theme. And for the slides, all slides that we'll be creating, you will just notice that you will see that the theme is already applied to them. So when we select, when we create a slide, we can select a layout and the theme has already applied to it. So it makes our work more colorful and more coherent when we give it a befitting theme. So, but also, after giving it a theme, it's possible that you might want to change the background of your slide. It's possible that you just want to change this background of your slide. So now let's just quickly do something. Let's let me place this slide up. Let me make this one the first slide here. So since it's the title, let's just say um, physiologist in tech. So that would be the title of our slide. Then probably you can just add a little subtitle. Probably we can just add today's date, the 2nd of May 2022. So that will be the front page. Then our subsequent slide, for you to create a slide, there are options for you to create a slide. You can use the keyboard shortcut menu by pressing Ctrl M, or you can just come here, click the plus sign here, and your slide is already there. Or you come to the slide over here, then you select create new slide. So these are the options for us to create our slide. So now what we will be doing now is we can choose to change the background of our slide here. What you do is you come to the background there. Now there are two ways, or there are two modes of background in which you can use for your slide. It's possible that you might want to use a color, or you might want to use an image. So it depends on what you wish to use for your background. Now, what you will be doing now is, if you are to select a color, the default color for the theme is black. So we can say we want a blue background. So if you go back to our presentation, our slide, you will realize that the background is already changed to blue. Now, we can also say, okay, we want, because this blue background is a uniform color, it's a solid color, you can give it a kind of gradient color, and you just select something like this. Then you realize that the color has already changed. But we must be mindful, we must be careful while choosing our background. We should choose a background that will not affect our text, so that when you are writing, your text will be visible enough for the people you are presenting to, so that you won't just make the mistake of choosing a background in which that will make your text ineligible to read. So when we are creating a background, we must try as much as possible to have the mindset or the notion behind our mind that we must create a background that will help our text to be readable. Now, the second background that we can choose is, we can say we want to choose an image as our background. So we come to the background again, then we can say choose image. Now, for Google Docs, we have varieties of options in which we can choose our image from. Now, there's a possibility that we might want to select the image from our computer. So if you will be selecting the image from your computer, you just go to the upload there, then you browse. If you browse, then you can select images. You can select the images. You go to the storage in which you save the image that you want to use for your background, then you select it. And there's a possibility that you want to use your direct camera, then you select camera. Now you can save by URL. If you have the URL, the link to that image you want to use, probably the image is an online content, you can use your URL. Then if you are on Google Photos, you can use your Google Photos, but you can also search images on Google. Now let's just say we are searching physiology. Okay, let's say physiologist. Now, so it gives us different images of physiologists. So we can just select one of them. You can just select one of them and you press the insert, then it's done. So we can see that the background for this slide has already changed to that image in which we sang. So those are the ways in which we can select images and we can change our background on Google Slides. So now what we'll be doing now is, for our presentation, for us to make our presentation more meaningful, we've talked about the layout and how we can structure our slide. Now, here we have the training, we have the things, we have transitions, but while presenting, there is a possibility that you, on each slide, you have something to say. You have something that you want to make it like a guide to guide you when you are presenting, so that on each slide you can say, okay, this is what I want to say here, this is what I will be saying on the next slide, and the likes. So this is what we call this is where the speaker notes comes in place. Underneath, you see something like speaker notes. Click to add the speaker note. So on this slide now, if I add a speaker note, let me say, I can just say, here I will be talking about layouts. So yeah, I just give myself a kind of guide about what I'll be talking about, the way I want to present it. You can add different things like, okay, let me say, yeah, this is what I want to do. I will greet my audience and I will ask a question here. Here I will have to pause a little and different things like that. Now, one thing about this speaker note is, while you are making your presentation, the speaker note will not be visible to the audience. Now, let's just say, let me go to the slideshow here. Now, as you can see here, this is the presentation. This is what the audience will be able to see. But as the presenter, you can come over here to check your speaker notes to know what you've written, or you can just press S. If you are to use the keyboard shortcut, you can come here to know what your speaker notes is talking, what you've written there. So here you will be able to read. Here I will be talking about layout. Now, after that, I've told us that to create a new slide, we just press Ctrl N. Now, let me just use a layout, something like this. So now let's just say we want okay, let's just use a text like, don't forget your speaker notes. Now, these tests that I've written here, now you might want to make this test, you might want to format this test, because if you are to leave it like this, it's only taking a little space, and at times you might not like the way the test is, or the way the test appears to you. So you might want to change it. What you just do is, you can come here, you can highlight the text, then you come over here, you change the font. We are given varieties of fonts here. You can change the font, you can select a font you love. I like Impact. Then you select the Impact, then you can come here to increase the font size. Let's say we are giving it 48. So you see, this is more readable. The text size has gotten bigger. So it will, when you are presenting your work, people will be able to read it better like this. Now, you can go further to change your color. So you can come here, you can come over here, then you come to your text, then you can bold, but we are talking about the color. So we can say this color, maybe let me just say color yellow here. So now we have color yellow here. Don't forget your speaker notes. Now, also, we can, in our text section, it's possible that we want to write something. Now, this, if you can see this box, this is what is called the text box. So now, let me delete it. Let me delete the text box so that we can know how to insert a new one. Now, at times we might want to write some text, and we can just say, come to insert here. Then you say the text box. So you draw your text box, the size in which you want, and you can start typing whatever it is you want to type. So let me just say we are saying list of items. The title is the list of items needed the list of materials to be used. Now, so the first material let's say the first material is a laptop, an internet connection, um, let me say a phone, a notepad. Let's just manage this for now. Now, one thing is, as you can see, these things that are written are not even, they are not readable. You can't even see them. So I told us that we can format whatever it is that we are doing. We can format it. Then we go to our test. I'll first give it a color for me to see what I'm doing. And this is why I told us about the background, that when we are choosing a background, we should make sure that the background is not the one that we affect the text that we have. So we can give it something like Oswald. Then we increase the size to 30. Now, you know we've created a kind of list. It's possible that we want to make this list more well arranged. So we can come here and we can just give it a kind of numbering. So you can give it a number 1, 2, 3. But if you are not ready to give it a number, you can give it an alphabet, something like this, A, B, C. You can come here to give it the Roman figures, IIV. And also you can come here to give it a bullet. So there are a list of bullets in which you can choose from. This is a bullet. This is another bullet. So this is when you are making your presentations. So all these things can help you when you are listing your items. So this will help you to format your text and your paragraph well. Now, while formatting your paragraph, it's possible that you want to make your text box, you want to change the color of your text box. You don't like the background is black, then the text box background is black because it inherits the color background color. So you can come over to the font. You can come over to the font here, the fill here. Then let me say I'll give it a kind of yellow. I think yellow is not. Let me say, yeah. So I give it a color like this. So you can have something like this so that at times when you are presenting your work, it does not necessarily mean that your text box should inherit the color of your background. You can give it another color, then you give your text another color too. So now, probably while you are writing, there are some text. Let me say there are some text that you might want to make them stand out. Let's say, let me say, okay, the price of this lesson is. Now, as you can see, the price of this lesson is $5,000. Let's just use that example. I know we are in Nigeria, but I know most of us are inclined to dollars of a thing. So now, the price of this lesson is $5,000. We can make this 5,000 stand out. Don't forget, whatever you want to do, just try to highlight it. You can highlight by pressing the shift button, then the arrow, the directional arrow, or you hold your mouse, then you drag over it. Then what you just do is you can give it a bigger size. You can even change the font. Then you can come over here, give it sorry, you can come over here, the text, then give it an highlight color. Let me say, give it something like this. Okay, you can give it an highlight color. An highlight color, something like this, so that as you can see, this $5,000 stands out. So at times when you are presenting you're having your presentation, there are some points that you might want to emphasize. You want the people you are presenting to know. You want them to see. You want those words to stand out. So these are the ways in which you can just make those things you want them to know. Maybe a key point. At times when you are making a key point, some people will underline, some people will star. So it depends on your choice. These are the ways in which you can make your point to stand out, and you can just make it to be more, or to capture more attention. So now what we'll be moving next to is for us to add image to our slide. Uh, because when we are doing our presentation, because at times text only does not will not aid our presentation. Sometimes we need visuals. We need visuals for our presentation. We need to show some images. So now what we are going to do is, let me use one of the slides that is available here. Let me use one of the slides available. So let me just say black. Done. And I will be making the layout to be blank. I want a blank layout. I don't want any layout structure. So what we are doing now is we want to insert an image. So we come here, we say insert. Now, like I told us the other time, there are various options for inserting images into our slide. We already spoke about the upload from your computer. Maybe you have it on your local storage. You can search it from web. You can check from your Google Drive. You can check your Google Photos. You can use your URL, or you can use your camera. So now what I will be doing is I will be uploading from my drive. I have some avatar that I uploaded on the drive. So now let me say I'm uploading the image of this image. Then I said insert. So now the image is here. We can click on the image, drag it to wherever we want it to be, and we can resize this image. Now, this image that we've inserted, it's possible that we want to format it. So what we do is we also come here and we come to our format options here. Now, when we come to format options here, now if you notice, we have a colorful image here, but we can recolor our image. We can recolor it to anything we like, something like this. I think like a grayscale. We can give it a light color. We can just make it anything. So probably we are giving it something like this. Now, you can also change the transparency. Maybe you don't want you want the opacity to be very low, you want it to be very transparent. You can come to the transparency here, and you notice it's fading away. So the more I increase the transparency, the more the image gets transparent. So at times you can use this transparent image as backgrounds too. So I can return it to its original color. Then I can place the image like this. So then I can give it any text. I can just say anything. I can just give it a text. Just draw my text box here. Then let me just say this. So I've written it here. This is the image of one of my co-worker. So we can format it the way we can format the image to make it more we can format the image so we can place it here and we can choose to put it anywhere we like. So now one thing that we have to do next is for us to add animations to our images. Now, our presentation. Now, if you notice, when you are presenting a slide, when you are presenting something in a slide, if I go to slideshow now and I just start clicking, you see everything just comes, goes, go. But you can make it more, you can make it to more fashionable. So you can add transitions and you can add animations. So transitions will affect the slide generally. It's about how the slide you change from one slide to another slide, while the animation is about the content inside the slide. So how the content inside the slide will respond to each other. So let's say, let's say from here, I come to the transition scene now, and we just say, let me choose a transition. Let me just say slide from right. So you can reduce the speed over here. If you want it very fast, you can say very fast. If you want it very slow, and it's good you put it to medium. Now, for us to, because like I said earlier, that at times we might be working on a slide that is very much, for us not to start wasting time on each slide, giving it transitions, you can just come here to apply to all slide. If you realize that immediately you apply to all slide, the transition animations are bad here, apply to everything that are here, so that whatever it is that you choose here, now if you check here, this is slide from right. If you click another slide, you see the same thing, slide from right. If you click another slide, you see slide from right. So now, so that we don't just have to waste our time just trying to apply a transition to each slide, you just apply to all slide. Now when we talk about the animation, you can just select, let me select this training. Now we can add animation to the training. So when we are to show this this concept, when we are presenting, how does it come in? So we can say fading, let me say flying from the bottom. Then when is it to flying? You can say when you click your mouse, or after the previous. So let me leave it to on click. Sorry. Now let me put it to medium, then play. Now if I click my mouse now, you see the training coming in from the bottom. So also the layouts, the layouts here, you can also give them its own animation. Like you can just say something like fading. Now fading, then you can choose by paragraph so that everything will follow each other. So when we play, when you click the training, so when you are presenting, you can just click, then you speak on your first point, you click again, you speak on your second point, then by that, so you can stop, you stop it. Now, we can also, because here, when we are having our presentation, we can also create lines. There are lines, there are different lines we can draw. probably when you just want to draw some line, something like this, then you can copy this line and paste. So you can have a line like this. Then you can choose, okay, how do I want to format my line? You can choose that the tip of the line, it starts like with something like this. Then it ends with an arrowhead or a rounded. So if you check your line, you see that the tip starts like, let me give it a more, let me give it a strong weight so that we can see what I'm talking about here. Now, if I say, you can come here, the line width, let me just give it something like 8 pixel. So you see that we have a more stronger line. So you can change your line width here, or and you can also change the color, line color. Let me say yellow. We have a yellow line over here. We can change the type. So this is a single line. Let's say we are giving it, let me format this to, so this is a double line. So for everything about your line, when you are adding a line to your presentation, you can just select the line, you draw your line, and you format it. But it's not only a single line that you can draw an arrow, you can draw a polygon, something like this. You can use it to draw a triangle. You can use it to draw a triangle. Then you format your triangle white, then the line should be black, or okay, yes, the line should be black. Then it should be around something like 2. So you can draw a triangle, you can draw a polygon. So this with this, you can draw some things, you can insert your line, but for you to insert something like triangle or polygon, using line is not the best option for you. The best thing you have to do is you can insert shapes. So you can come here to insert shapes. So we have list of shapes that has already been created for us. So it makes our work more neat. We can insert a rectangle. We have a rounded rectangle here. We have, so you see, this one is more neat and more presentable. So here now, you can just write something, you can just draw something like this, then you give it a color of your choice. And let me just say, just draw. So you can do all these things to make your work more presentable, to make it look more neat. So you can just insert the text. This is a shape formatting. So you can insert our text, then give it something big. So we can just make it look like we are having a kind of notepad, or we are having a kind of design for it. So when you are making your presentations, you can do some things like this to make all these things, and you can just centralize. You can centralize it. So now it looks like this. So at times when you are making presentations, you might just want to make something like a list or something like a sticky notes and things like that. So with something like this, I think you can create a presentation that looks more visually appealing. So now what we'll be doing now is we at times we might want to embed some videos into our presentation. Probably you are working on a project and you want to present the project and you've recorded the video of probably your progress. You want to talk about your progress report and everything, and the videos are there. So what you just do is you come here again, you come to the video, you insert a video. Now, you can either search YouTube for a video or you go to your drive. If you have a video in your drive, you can upload it from your drive, but I don't think I have a video in my drive. Or you go to by URL, you can select by URL, and if you have the URL of the video. So now, if you are searching YouTube, I think this is being streamlined now. Let's just say GDSC UI. Now we search. So now these are the list of videos that are here. So we can let me just select one of it, then we insert it. So the videos, this is the video. Now, one thing about this video is you will need your internet connection for it to be played, because you insert it directly from online. So now you can play it here, and your video is already playing. So you can resize your video over here to make it more bigger. Now, if you see the format options here, you can say you want to play on click when you are presenting your show, maybe until you click your mouse, or you want to play it manually, or you want to play it automatically. It depends on the choice in which you are. Then you can select the time, because we have a 58-minute video here. You can select the time that we can start the video. You select the minute you want the video to be started and the minute you want the video to be ended. Then, if possible, you just want the demonstrations only without the audio, then you can move the audio. Now, another thing that is, let me just say, worth knowing in this Google slide is for you to insert a diagram. Now, when you are inserting diagrams, because diagrams are good for presentations, especially when you are having something like, you want to explain something like grid, all this hierarchy. Maybe you want to draw an organogram, or you want to talk about a family tree, or you want to talk about progress report, a timeline report for something. Now, if you come here, we see list of diagrams that are already presented to us. We can select grids. We have grids. Maybe you want to make something like a calendar or anything. Then you select the numbers, then the color. You see examples of grids that are here. So maybe we select something like this. These are grids. Then we can start editing it one after the other. 45% of, maybe you are talking about, you have all these packages that we have: the basic, the premium, the pro, and the like. So you can just use this one to be the basic, 45, all those things. And if you like, you can insert something like a family tree. Maybe you can select from the hierarchy. Then let's say we want to draw a structure. Then let me just use level 3. So something like this. We start from maybe the president. The president. You can edit this and say the president. Then the two deputy the two deputy, and the rest. So now we have something like this, but you see, as we've already said, that our presentations must be readable, like it must be eligible enough. So if you have something like this, we can increase the size. We can increase it from 10 to something like 14. Even I think 18 will be good. So now we can increase the size. Then at times you might want to show something like an heat map. So you can say for the president, the color for the president is, let me say, gray. Then the two deputy will have something like yellow color. Then the rest is something like uh, let's just select a color. So you can use this as a color coding for your charts. So with this, we have our color. Then for the lines, you can just format the lines the way you are. So after you insert the template, you can do whatever it is you want to do. The way you can just select whatever place you wish to modify. Then you use the knowledge of your formatting. Like if you have to format the lines, you come to the format like border lines. Then whatever it is you want to do, maybe the line color, you want to change the line color, you want to change the line weight, the line type, the dash, the decoration, you want, maybe you want to change anything about it, then you can do. And if it is the text, you can just highlight the text, then you select whatever it is you want to select with the text. And if it is text box, you can just select the text box, then you do whatever it is you want to do with it. So with this, you are able to create a kind of diagram that looks more appealing, and you know it can help your presentation through visualization. Now, another, if you are to, you can insert a kind of progress report, something like this. Let's just say, let's insert this. So maybe you are talking about an expected project. Let's go give it a title like let's just say expected results at the end of 4 weeks. So we just say expected result at the end of 4 weeks. Then so this is what we expect at the end of 4 weeks. Now, week 1, we can come here to just say, you can just change this one to week 1. Week 1. Then what do you expect in week 1? Then you type, okay, by week 1, there should be a knowledge in so probably layout. They should have known about layout. Then your week 2, then you talk about the expected results in week 2. Then and the likes. So now for every of these, now you can adjust, you can increase, you can decrease, you can decrease it, you can increase it, you can expand it. So it's not only restricted that you just have to go by this template that you are given. So when you are given a template that you know that this template is not that suitable for you, you can modify the template to suit your choice. Now, so also for your presentation, you can insert a table. You know, when you have list of items, when you have list of things um to insert in your presentation. You know, if most of us are familiar with Google Slides or something like Microsoft Excel, we know that we basically use it for tables and the likes. Now, we might want to insert tables to show, maybe let's just say, the list of students or the list of materials or the list of everything. So you can just say, let's create a layout for title, and let's just say name of students, okay, attendance for the class. Now, in the attendance here, we want to insert a table. Now, if you notice, you will see boxes. These boxes, they signify the rows, the numbers of row and column in which you want to insert. So it's possible that if you need only 2 rows and 1 column, it will remain like this. You might select and you will see the number underneath: 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 5 by 6. So maybe we're having something like something like maybe 6 row. Let me just say 3. Let's just use 4 and 4. So now this is our table. You can just say, okay, this one contain the names, this one contain the address, this one contain the phone number, and probably their signature. So sorry. So now you have the name John, James, and let's just say Tony. So here we can format our table by selecting the table. Then we might want to make, let me just say, these 2 rows, we might want to bring them together. So we can format the table by merging these cells together. Then we can centralize something like this, James, for it to come to the center. So now we can also give it a color, just the way we've done before. So we can give it a color. Then so now we can give our table colors. We can, the same thing we've done for the rest. We can change the text. We can change the text size. We can change the text. We can change the text size. We can change the font type. We can underline. We can give our table. We can determine the border for our table. So you can come here to give something like this. So this is the line. So our table is already underlined, and we have the border. We have the border here. So when you are presenting, you might want to you just want to add a short table. So this is how you can just add your short table to your presentation. Now, there's a possibility that in your presentation you might want to add something like a chart, um, pie chart, bar chart, line chart, all those charts, because at times you might want to do some kind of comparison, or you just want to state a statistical data and you want to express it through chart. So now also in your presentation, you can select a chart. You can just come to the chart, then you select the type of chart you want to include. Now, let me just say you are inserting a column chart. Now, one thing that Google Docs do is your chart, it links your chart automatically to your Google Sheet. So now if you come here, you see that you see the link icon here. So this means that the data that are presented on this chart is linked to another source. So what you can do is you can just come over here and you can open the source. Now, if you open the source, if you open the source, it shows you something like this. So what you can do is you can come over here, then you can write whatever it is that you want to write. You can input the data you want to input. Then maybe let's just say period 3. Let's include period 3. Then we give it a number, 87, 20, 34, 54, and 34. So now in your charts, 34. So in your chart, you can edit the chart. Then you select where the columns to be shared with so that it can capture the new data you just included. So when you come back to your slide, one good thing about it is whatever modification you make on your Google Sheets or the place in which serves as the source of this chart, whatever modification you make will automatically be sent to your share slides. So what you just have to do is for you to update. So immediately we update this chart, we notice that this third column has been added, the period 3 has been added to it. So when there's a link, Anytime that there is a modification or there is a change on when there is a change with the source file, automatically the update will be sent all to your Google slide. And with that, we can be rest assured that anytime maybe we just create when we are progressing with or we are including new data, we can be rest assured that our slides too will be up to date. So and now, so for we can just come in now. Let's just say for everything we've been doing since, we might just want to preview our work. Then we start the slideshow. We can start the slideshow for the presentation. When you start the slideshow, then you explain, okay, training, layout, the things. Then you see another presentation. Then this is the video. This is another slide which we created. Then this is another slide. This is another slide. So don't forget, I told us that when we are presenting, it's possible you can just press S to open your speaker notes. If you open your speaker notes, you will see something like this. So here, if you include a speaker notes here, I think we included a speaker notes in our, let me see, we included it in, I think the second slide. Yes. So now, as you can see, just because we include the speaker note in our second slide, you will see something like this. So with this, you as the presenter, you are the only one that will have the access to see it this way. But what the viewers will be able to see are just your presentations. They won't be able to see the speaker note. So with the speaker note, you can just use it as a guardian to guide you whatever it is that you will be doing when you are presenting. So, so now, after we are done, now one thing that we have to know is this work. If you can see, if you check over here, you see that it's named Untitled Presentation, and I don't think this is a good name for our work, because you can maybe assuming you have something like 20, 30, 50 or more presentations, and you just leave everything like Untitled, it does not make it professionally sound enough. So you can just come over here, then it suggests a name automatically, physiology in tech, just because that is the name that is on our cover page. So if you are good with that, you can just leave it like that. Let's just leave it like that. So now, this presentation, this slide, there's a possibility that you want to share it with other people. You want, maybe you want others to be able to view it. You want others to be able to modify it, or you want others to comment on it. So what you can just do is for you to come to this share option over here. Now, when you come to the share option, you can come over here. There are different things you can do. You can copy the link and send it out on the group or anywhere, or send it to mails, and people will be able to view. But you can come here to add people. Let me just say I add this person now. It will say notify people. So you can just type a message. Probably you want to say, okay, check out my new presentation. So you can just say something like, check out my new presentation. Now, one thing is, there are role administration. So there are 3 roles in which you can assign to a particular person. There's a possibility that you make the person an editor. Now, one thing about an editor is, wherever you make an editor, when they open the slide, they will have the ability to edit or to modify content in that slide. So whenever an editor opens your slide, they will be able to correct, or they will be able to modify it. Now, you can make the person a commenter. What one thing about the commenter is, the commenter will be there, will be able to see the file, but the only thing that they will be able to do is just to make comments about the slide. They won't be able to do more than make a comment. But the last one is the viewer. So what the viewer will only do is for them to just view the slide only. They can't make comments, they can't edit, they can't make comments. So it's less for you to select the option what you want every individual in your the individual you are sending it to, what you want them to know. So now, if I just say, I can just say, make this individual a viewer, then check out my new presentation, then send. So And with that, that individual will get my notification, and the person will be able to view everything about these slides, and the person will be able to arrange it. Now, for Google Slides, there are different, though there are different tools, there are different things in which you can do. Now, there's a possibility that maybe you've worked on some slide before and you wish to import the slide to your current slide. You can come over here and say import slide. Now, let me just say I have list of presentations here now. So I have list of presentations. There are lots of them. I can just select one of it and import. So let me say I'll be importing 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've selected the numbers of slides I want to import. Now, if you can see, these are the slides that I just import from the works or that I've done previously. So what we are doing here is probably you have what are they called it? Probably you have works you've done previously that correlate with what you are presenting now. Instead of you to start creating all over again, instead of you to start doing all these things, writing another one, creating a new slide, you can just import them. And one thing about this import is just like the way we spoke about how our work is linked with our Google Sheets, we also link whatever it is that you import will be linked to the primary source. Now, one thing is, whenever there is a change in the primary source too, there will also be a change here. So whenever you make probably a modification, okay, now let me open this one and say, okay, this is like what is a good here. Let me just, if I go to this tab now, I said I will just add a question mark to it. I'm sorry if you can't see it, but don't worry. Now, if I come back here, if I'm to come back here now and I check, so sorry. Okay. So now I'm able to add this question mark. The file, I'm unable to access this file for now. Let me just leave it like this. I'm unable to access that one. Now, so if you are to come here now, we can see that all these files have been included. It's possible that you want to include files, you want to include your former presentation so that everything works together. Now, also, you can email your presentation. You can send the email, the presentation. So you can email it to your friends, you can email it to your collaborators, then you can download it. Now, when we started this class, I told us that this Google Slides is just like an equivalent to Microsoft PowerPoint. So now, if it's possible that you download this Google Slide and you can open it in your PowerPoint. So you can download it as a PowerPoint material. You can download it as ODP document. You can download it as a PDF file. You can download it as a plain text or as an image or whichever way you want to download it. Now, also, you can also publish it in your website. So for people that are having websites, you can also publish your slides in your website, and also you can print it. So you can print your slide there, then